Behind the closed doors of one of the largest cigarette factories lies a world few understand. A world where every detail matters, from the raw material to the final product. Have you ever wondered what makes cigarettes so enticing? Despite the overwhelming evidence of their dangers, why do millions of people around the world continue to light up, even with the health risks at the forefront of every news cycle? In today's video, we're going to uncover the fascinating journey of how cigarettes are made, from the fields where tobacco is grown, to the machines that roll and pack each cigarette, and finally, to the global empire of the tobacco industry. Let's take a step behind the curtain of one of the most controversial industries in the world. Welcome to the world of cigarette production. To understand the magnitude of cigarette manufacturing, we need to take a step back and look at the history of tobacco. Tobacco's roots trace back to the indigenous cultures of the Americas, long before Christopher Columbus made his famous voyages. When Columbus and his crew landed in the New World, they were introduced to the native people's smoking rituals, a practice that had been ongoing for centuries. The Europeans, fascinated by the plant, soon began cultivating tobacco back in Europe, and it wasn't long before it became a worldwide commodity. Today, tobacco is grown on every continent except Antarctica, with the highest levels of production seen in China and India. But what exactly is tobacco? The three most common types of tobacco used in cigarette manufacturing are Virginia, Burley, and Oriental tobacco. Each one has its unique characteristics, from the sweet, mild flavor of Virginia tobacco to the robust, earthy tones of Burley. Oriental tobacco, known for its spicy aroma, is grown in the Mediterranean and parts of Asia, adding depth and complexity to the smoking experience. Tobacco's long history is not just about flavor, though, it's about the culture. In the United States, cigarettes became a symbol of rebellion, glamour, and sophistication, and by the 20th century, smoking had entrenched itself as a part of American identity. The rise of big tobacco companies and the expansion of cigarette advertising in the mid-1900s cemented cigarettes as a mainstream product. But alongside this came mounting health concerns and the realization that smoking wasn't just a social habit, it was an addiction. Today, the process of turning tobacco into a cigarette is nothing short of a marvel of modern manufacturing. But the journey from seed to smoke isn't simple. It all starts with the tobacco plant itself, which is carefully cultivated in fields around the world. From the moment the tobacco seed is sown, the process requires precision, skill, and technology to ensure the highest quality product. Let's begin at the very beginning, the tobacco growing process. It starts with a tiny seed, no bigger than a speck of dust. Tobacco seedlings are carefully prepared in greenhouses, where they're nurtured until they're strong enough to be planted in the fields. Modern technology has transformed this process, with machines now used to ensure that seeds are evenly spread across the soil, optimizing growth from the very start. Tobacco plants are incredibly finicky. They require specific conditions to thrive. The soil must be rich and well-drained, with a pH level that falls between 5.5 and 6.5. The plants also need a warm climate with temperatures around 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 to 29 degrees Celsius. While these conditions are essential for growing the best tobacco, they also mean that the majority of tobacco comes from specific regions. Parts of the US, China, India, and Africa, where the climate is perfect for tobacco's needs. Once the seedlings are ready, they're transplanted into the fields, a process that is still done by hand in many parts of the world. However, there's a growing trend toward mechanized planting, which helps reduce labor costs and increase efficiency. Workers carefully place the seedlings in rows, ensuring they have enough space to grow and receive the sunlight and nutrients they need. Water is crucial to the tobacco growing process. Too little, and the plant wilts. Too much, and it drowns. In fact, the quality of tobacco is so sensitive to water levels that farmers often use irrigation systems that carefully control how much water each plant gets. In some regions, the soil is rich enough to support the plants without extra water, but in others, where rainfall is unpredictable, irrigation becomes a lifeline. Along with water management, farmers must also deal with weeds and pests. Tobacco fields require constant monitoring to ensure the plants are healthy and free from disease. Some farmers use herbicides to control weeds, while others rely on organic methods. This delicate balance of water, soil, and pest control is what allows tobacco to grow to its full potential. After months of care, the tobacco plant finally reaches the point where it's ready to be harvested. But not all tobacco is harvested in the same way. For certain varieties like burley tobacco, the entire plant is cut down at once, while for others like Virginia and Oriental tobacco, the leaves are picked one by one as they mature. This method, known as leaf-by-leaf harvesting, allows workers to select only the best, most mature leaves, ensuring a high-quality product. Once harvested, the tobacco is carefully transported to the curing facility, where the leaves will undergo a transformation that will shape their flavor and characteristics. Curing tobacco is an art as much as a science. There are several methods used to dry tobacco leaves, and each one produces a different result. The three main curing methods are sun curing, air curing, and fire curing. Sun curing is the most traditional method, and it's often used for Oriental tobacco. The leaves are spread out under the sun, where they dry naturally. This process helps the tobacco retain more sugars and less nicotine, giving it a mild, sweet flavor. Air curing is similar, but instead of relying on the sun, the leaves are dried in open-air barns. This method gives the tobacco a light, pleasant taste, perfect for blending with other types of tobacco. Finally, fire curing involves drying the tobacco over a smoky fire, which imparts a deep, smoky flavor and increases the nicotine content. This method is often used for burley tobacco, which is known for its strong flavor. Once the tobacco is properly cured, it's time for the final step: sorting, grading, and packaging. After curing, the tobacco leaves are stripped from their stalks, revealing the rich, aromatic leaves that will eventually become the contents of a cigarette. These leaves are then graded by quality, ensuring that only the finest tobacco makes its way to the factory. The best leaves are selected for premium cigarettes, while lower-grade leaves are used in more budget-friendly options. The graded tobacco is then packed into bales, ready to be shipped off to the cigarette manufacturing plant. It's at this point that the process really starts to speed up. Now that the tobacco leaves are prepared and packaged, they make their way to the heart of the cigarette factory. Here, technology and human expertise combine to transform the raw, cured tobacco into the familiar cigarette that millions of people reach for each day. The first step in this transformation is called threshing. When the bales of tobacco arrive at the factory, they're opened, and the leaves are passed through a series of mechanical threshers. This powerful machinery gently breaks apart the dried leaves, separating them into smaller, more manageable pieces. These small fragments are then cleaned to remove any dust or debris, ensuring that only the highest quality tobacco makes it to the next stage. After threshing, the tobacco enters the blending process. Blending is a critical part of cigarette production because it ensures that the flavor profile of the final product is consistent. At this stage, different types of tobacco are combined: Virginia, burley, and Oriental tobacco, each with its own distinct taste and aroma. The blending process is not just about mixing tobacco, it's about creating a balance between sweetness, strength, and smoothness that appeals to the consumer. But that's not all. The tobacco is also treated with humectants, special chemicals that maintain moisture levels and prevent the tobacco from becoming too dry. The right amount of moisture is essential to prevent the cigarette from burning too quickly or unevenly. Once the tobacco is blended and prepared, it's ready to be shaped into a cigarette. This is where the magic of modern manufacturing truly comes to life. The tobacco mixture is loaded into large machines that form it into what's known as a cigarette rod. A machine called a tobacco feeder evenly dispenses the tobacco, which is then wrapped tightly in paper. The cigarette paper, made from a thin, lightweight material, forms a tube that holds the tobacco tightly in place. But the cigarette isn't finished just yet. It still needs a filter, which is added in the next stage of the process. Inserting the filter and tipping paper, the next step is the insertion of a cigarette filter. Filters are made from cellulose acetate, a synthetic fiber designed to reduce the amount of tar and nicotine inhaled by the smoker. The filter is inserted into the end of the cigarette, where it's secured in place with a strip of tipping paper. This tipping paper plays a crucial role. It's what connects the filter to the cigarette rod and provides a smooth, cohesive appearance. The paper is typically printed with a brand logo, adding a layer of branding to the product. As the cigarettes continue down the production line, They are rolled and cut into uniform lengths, ready for packaging. Once the cigarettes are fully formed, they are transported to the packaging machines, where they're grouped into packs. The packs are sealed with cellophane to maintain freshness, and then they're wrapped in cartons for easy transport. Depending on the market, cigarettes are packaged in different sizes, commonly 20 cigarettes per pack in the US, though in countries like Ireland, a pack may contain as many as 33. Packaging is as much about aesthetics as it is about practicality. The design of the pack, the colors, the logo, all of these elements play a role in creating an emotional connection with the consumer. It's no secret that cigarette packaging has been used as a marketing tool for decades, influencing consumer preferences and promoting brand loyalty. In fact, much of the cigarette's appeal comes from the image it projects, whether it's the sleek elegance of a luxury brand or the rugged allure of a more budget-friendly option. Once the packs are ready, they're sent off to retailers, where they'll eventually make their way into the hands of smokers. But behind the simplicity of purchasing a pack of cigarettes is a massive, intricate system that spans the globe, one that's powered by the tobacco industry's worldwide reach. The tobacco industry is an enormous global network, worth a staggering $756 billion annually. It's an industry that spans continents and industries, from farming and manufacturing to advertising and retail. And yet, despite the growing awareness of the health risks associated with smoking, the tobacco industry continues to thrive. One of the most significant factors in the industry's success is marketing. Cigarette companies have long relied on advertising to create demand for their products. Whether it's through television commercials, magazine ads, or more subtle forms of marketing, cigarettes have been sold as symbols of freedom, independence, and glamour. Even today, despite advertising restrictions in many countries, the image of smoking persists in pop culture, reinforcing its appeal. But the tobacco industry's influence doesn't end with advertising. Illicit tobacco trade remains a significant issue, with counterfeit and smuggled cigarettes contributing to the black market. In fact, the World Health Organization estimates that nearly 10% of all cigarettes sold worldwide are illegal. This underground market not only deprives governments of tax revenue but also undermines efforts to reduce smoking rates and protect public health. No discussion of cigarette production would be complete without addressing the elephant in the room: the health risks associated with smoking. It's no secret that smoking is a leading cause of preventable diseases, including lung cancer, heart disease, and respiratory illnesses. The World Health Organization estimates that tobacco use causes more than 8 million deaths each year globally. Despite these risks, cigarettes continue to be consumed by millions, contributing to the ongoing public health crisis. Nicotine addiction is a powerful force that keeps people smoking. Nicotine, the primary addictive substance in cigarettes, creates a temporary feeling of relaxation and pleasure. However, over time, smokers become dependent on nicotine, making it incredibly difficult to quit. Even with widespread awareness of the dangers, the addiction to nicotine remains one of the most challenging aspects of smoking cessation. The risk of lung cancer, heart disease, stroke, and respiratory conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD) all increase significantly for smokers. Secondhand smoke is also a major concern, with millions of non-smokers being exposed to the harmful chemicals in tobacco smoke each year. While health organizations continue to push for smoking cessation programs and anti-smoking campaigns, the challenge remains immense. Despite these health risks, cigarette consumption continues, and the tobacco industry remains a powerful force in global markets. This brings us to a larger question: how do we balance the realities of manufacturing with the very real dangers of smoking? As we reach the end of our journey through the intricate process of how cigarettes are made, we must pause and reflect on the broader implications of this industry. From the moment tobacco seeds are sown in the soil to the final pack of cigarettes resting on store shelves, the production of cigarettes is a complex and highly refined operation. Yet, despite the precision and scale involved, there is one undeniable fact: the toll smoking takes on health. The global tobacco industry, worth hundreds of billions of dollars, continues to thrive, with millions of cigarettes being produced, sold, and consumed every day. But behind the glamour and the smooth packaging, there is a silent cost, one measured not in dollars but in lives. Every year, tobacco-related illnesses claim the lives of millions around the world, leaving behind families, communities, and loved ones. As we've seen, cigarette production is not just about machinery and tobacco, it's about human lives. The addiction to nicotine is a powerful force, one that keeps smokers hooked despite the known risks. And while many countries have made strides in reducing smoking rates and raising awareness of the dangers, the battle against tobacco remains ongoing. For those who are looking to quit, there is hope. Countless programs and resources are available to help individuals break free from nicotine addiction and take back control of their health. The road to quitting may be challenging, but it's also one filled with opportunities for change and a healthier future.